I'm shutting down your illegal Christmas party, and anyone who shows up will be arrested and fined. That's what our HOA president just screamed while storming through our neighborhood with a stack of cease and desist letters. She's trying to cancel Christmas itself. Delilah Thornfield thinks she can destroy our 15-year tradition of the annual neighborhood Christmas party. Yesterday, she threatened every family with $500 fines. Today, she's blocking party planning meetings, calling the cops on caroling kids, and screaming about undesirable activities ruining her perfect subdivision. The crunch of frost under her $1,000 boots echoes through cold December air that should smell like cinnamon cookies and fresh pine, but now carries the sharp scent of her rage and desperation. This lunatic has terrorized 47 families for months. What she doesn't know is exactly who's been watching her illegal power grab from that quiet house on the corner. Where are you watching from? What would you do if someone tried to steal Christmas? 3 days ago, I'm drinking Sarah's coffee and reading my morning mayoral emails when I see another complaint about criminal activity in Oak Ridge Estates. The complainant demands I investigate illegal neighborhood meetings and property value terrorism by undesirable residents. The signature? Delilah Thornfield, HOA president. The address she's complaining about? My own damn street. I nearly spit coffee across my laptop. For 6 months, this psycho has been filing formal complaints with my office, begging me to investigate my own neighbors. She has zero clue she's been tattling directly to the guy she's targeting. Here's the backstory. I'm Ethan Wellington, mayor of Maplewood Heights for 18 months, former city planning attorney, 3 years on city council, then elected mayor of our 12,000-person town. 2 years ago, wife Sarah and I moved here with twin daughters, Emma and Grace. They were 6 then, obsessed with sidewalk chalk, and convinced every neighborhood dog was their personal friend. After years in the public eye, I craved normal family life. My neighbors know I work some downtown city job. Zero idea I actually run the place. Strategic anonymity for suburban peace. Then Hurricane Delilah hit our subdivision. Picture corporate compliance officer meets prison warden. 6 years as HOA president because she intimidates all opposition. Retired from some soul-crushing bureaucracy job, now treats our neighborhood like her personal dictatorship. The woman weaponizes paperwork like other people use baseball bats. Her 6-month escalation campaign started small, always does with tyrants. Basketball hoops became aesthetic violations. Kids' chalk art transformed into property defacement. Garden gnomes? Unauthorized decorative installations. Each citation came with $200 fines and threats that would make a loan shark nervous. The smell of fresh ink from her citation printer mixed with the fear radiating from every doorstep visit. Parents started keeping kids indoors. Elderly neighbors stopped decorating for holidays. The Rodriguez family considered selling because their American flag violated patriotic display standards. But the Christmas party nuclear option, that was her bridge too far. For 15 years, Joe and Linda Kowalski hosted December 23rd neighborhood Christmas celebration. Backyard tradition where kids sang carols, parents shared homemade cookies, elderly folks got their main social connection of the winter. Pure Norman Rockwell community magic. Delilah's cease and desist letters claimed parking violations, noise ordinance breaches, and illegal commercial activity because Mrs. Palmer sells Christmas cookies to fund her grandson's soccer team. Her real target? Any gathering that built neighborhood bonds instead of keeping families isolated and controllable. 3 nights ago in Joe's garage, the texture of sawdust and motor oil smell mixing with nervous energy, 47 families gathered for emergency crisis talks. Paper rustled as parents passed around Delilah's latest legal threats. The metallic taste of community fear hung heavy as Christmas decorations. Mrs. Patterson, retired teacher, voice trembling. $500 fine for oversized holiday wreaths disrupting neighborhood aesthetic harmony. Tom Rodriguez, Vietnam vet, cited my flag for touching a tree branch, called it improper patriotic symbol display. Young mother crying. She threatened to report us to child services because our kids' outdoor toys create safety hazards and property devaluation. Listening to systematic community destruction, rage burned in my throat. This wasn't property maintenance. This was ethnic and economic cleansing by citation book. Delilah was assassinating neighborhood soul one family at a time, but here's her fatal miscalculation. Every complaint she files lands on my mayoral desk. 6 months of documented harassment, false reporting, abuse of authority. She's building her own legal prosecution file, one paranoid email at a time. Standing in that garage, watching families share fear stories, I made my decision. Ethan the neighbor keeps gathering intelligence. Ethan the mayor prepares the legal trap. Ethan the father ensures this Christmas party happens even if I have to personally arrest this woman. The sharp December air carried pine scent from nearby Christmas trees and the bitter smell of injustice about to meet real authority. Delilah thinks she owns this neighborhood. Time to show her what actual power looks like when it protects people instead of terrorizing them. The next morning, Delilah launched her nuclear option. Certified letters hit every mailbox in the subdivision, 47 families, same day. I watched from my kitchen window as neighbors stumbled to their mailboxes, coffee cups steaming in the cold air, then stood there reading with expressions like they'd been gut-punched by a legal document. The letter was pure terrorism disguised as law. Cease and desist. Illegal commercial gathering. $500 daily fine for anyone attending the Christmas party. Threats of property liens. Citations of some dusty 1987 HOA covenant about unauthorized commercial activities that supposedly banned neighborhood gatherings where someone might sell a cookie. But here's where her arrogance reached breathtaking heights. She claimed to have direct connections with city officials who would personally enforce her demands. The woman was threatening my neighbors with my own authority, and she had no clue. That evening, Sarah found me hunched over my laptop at the kitchen table, officially researching property law for a friend. The smell of her homemade chili bubbled on the stove while I dove deep into Delilah's legal foundation, looking for cracks. What I discovered made my heart race like Christmas morning. Years ago, during my attorney days, I'd learned that most HOA boards operate on autopilot, assuming their incorporation paperwork stays current forever. But corporate law doesn't work that way. Business licenses expire, and if you don't renew them, you're just a citizen with delusions of authority. Turns out Delilah's HOA had been operating without valid state business licensing for over 2 years. Every fine, every threat, every citation was legally worthless toilet paper with fancy letterhead. She had zero authority to enforce anything and probably didn't even know it. The lesson here couldn't be clearer. Always demand to see current HOA incorporation documents before paying a single fine. Most people never check if the board actually has legal standing. I filed an anonymous complaint with the state attorney general's office. Then I got creative with some midnight mailbox visits. At 2 a.m., wearing a hoodie like some suburban vigilante, I printed copies of state business incorporation requirements, highlighted the sections about proper licensing, and left them in every neighbor's mailbox. No signature, no return address, just public information about how HOA boards actually work when they follow the law. The beautiful irony hit Tuesday morning like karma with a certified mail stamp. State investigation notice arrived at Delilah's house the exact same day neighbors found legal ammunition in their mailboxes. I watched through my kitchen window as she signed for that letter with her usual imperious attitude, then saw her face drain of color as she read it. 20 minutes later, she's speed dialing her attorney while neighbors are texting each other highlighted passages about unlawful operation of homeowner associations and invalid corporate authority. The woman had triggered a state investigation into her own illegal operation, and she thought it was coincidence. By noon, she'd called an emergency HOA board meeting for Thursday night, pure panic response from someone watching their house of cards wobble. But what really fired me up was watching our community transform. Mrs. Patterson, 73-year-old retired teacher with 40 years of classroom authority, started a legal research group in her living room. "If that woman wants to play lawyer," she announced at Wednesday's garage meeting, the scent of fresh coffee mixing with motor oil and determination. "Let's show her what actual legal research looks like." The Kowalski garage became our tactical headquarters. Tom Rodriguez and 3 other veterans organized documentation teams. Every Delilah interaction would be recorded, witnessed, and filed. These guys had survived actual combat. They weren't intimidated by a suburban dictator armed with a citation book and attitude. Meanwhile, my 8-year-old daughters came home from school asking why Christmas felt scary and angry this year. Emma's innocent question, "Daddy, why can't we sing songs outside anymore?" hit me like a sledgehammer to the chest. Kids shouldn't feel afraid in their own neighborhood. Period. Delilah's response to the state investigation revealed her true character, pure desperation disguised as authority. She hired a real attorney billing the HOA account without board approval and immediately threatened foreclosure on 3 properties for accumulated violations. Then she installed security cameras aimed directly at the Kowalski house. Not subtle surveillance, but obvious intimidation. Thursday night, instead of attending her emergency board meeting, 47 families gathered in the Kowalski backyard for Christmas party planning. Children sang carols while parents organized logistics, their voices carrying through crisp winter air that should have been filled with joy, not fear. Delilah stood at her front window with binoculars, frantically taking notes like she was documenting organized crime instead of families sharing hot chocolate and planning cookie exchanges. Friday morning brought another paranoid complaint to my mayoral inbox. Request immediate investigation of illegal neighborhood conspiracy against lawful HOA authority. She was literally asking me to investigate my neighbors for resisting her illegal harassment. The woman was building a federal case against herself, one delusional email at a time. Game on, Delilah. You picked the wrong neighborhood. Delilah's next move proved she'd completely lost her mind. Monday morning, every household received another certified letter, this one demanding an emergency $300 HOA assessment for her legal defense fund, 30 days to pay or face property liens. She was literally forcing us to bankroll her war against our own Christmas party. But Wednesday morning, she escalated to pure evil. I woke up to Sarah shaking my shoulder. Marcus, something's wrong outside. The streetlights were dead. Our mailbox cluster at the subdivision entrance was locked with new hardware. Families wandered the dark streets like refugees, confused and angry. Delilah had cut off communal utilities, no street lighting, no mailbox access. Elderly neighbors were walking 3 blocks to the post office just to collect their prescription medications. The woman had declared economic warfare on her own neighborhood. Thursday morning in my mayoral office, reviewing routine city budget reports, something triggered my legal instincts. Delilah's assessment letter claimed HOA fees covered street maintenance, snow removal, and lighting. But I was staring at municipal records showing the city already provided all those services to Oak Ridge Estates under standard agreements. She'd been double billing residents for years. Back in my law school days, I'd studied municipal finance fraud cases where HOA boards collected duplicate fees for city-provided services. When it's accidental, it's incompetence. When it's systematic with kickbacks, it's embezzlement. Given Delilah's pattern, I knew exactly which category this was. Digging through city vendor contracts with my mayoral access, I found the smoking gun. Residents paid $50 monthly for snow removal and $75 for street maintenance that the city provided free under our municipal services agreement. 2 years of systematic theft totaled roughly $15,000, not counting whatever kickbacks she'd pocketed from fake contractors. The lesson was crystal clear. Always verify on your city's website which services your property taxes already cover before paying duplicate HOA fees. I made 2 strategic calls that afternoon, an anonymous tip to Channel 7 about potential HOA financial crimes, and a public records request filed under my name as a concerned citizen for all city contracts involving Oak Ridge Estates. Friday evening, Channel 7 delivered beautiful justice. HOA double billing scandal blazed across television screens while reporter Amanda Palmer interviewed bewildered residents holding their assessment letters. Bank records and city contracts proved the duplicate charges beyond doubt. The story exploded across social media by Saturday. Our quiet subdivision became a viral symbol of HOA corruption, with neighbors' shocked reactions broadcast nationwide as they realized they'd been paying twice for the same services. Here's where the mini twist hit like karma with a camera crew. Instead of retreating, Delilah's response revealed her complete break from reality. Sunday, she hired a private investigator, some bottom feeder who started stalking families to document criminal conspiracy activities. This creep showed up at children's soccer games, photographed license plates during neighborhood meetings, and interrogated our mail carrier about suspicious delivery patterns. Monday morning, watching this predator photograph my 8-year-old daughters at the school bus stop, the metallic taste of pure rage filled my mouth. This had evolved from HOA dispute to criminal harassment of children. But Tuesday brought her most spectacular mistake, attempted bribery of a city official. My building inspector Jake Morrison called, laughing so hard he could barely speak. "Boss, you won't believe this. Some crazy lady just offered me $500 cash to fabricate code violations on Maple Street. Said her connections downtown would guarantee my promotion for helping her frame innocent families." Jake had no clue he was reporting directly to the mayor this lunatic claimed as her ally. She'd just confessed attempted bribery to my own employee while threatening my neighbors. I filed criminal charges that afternoon. The community response reached revolutionary levels. Our Facebook group, Oak Ridge Resistance, exploded to include neighboring subdivisions suffering similar HOA abuse. Mrs. Patterson's living room became legal headquarters, the scent of fresh coffee mixing with the intensity of citizens discovering their constitutional rights. Tom Rodriguez's veteran network provided security escorts for elderly residents afraid to leave their homes. Maria Santos offered her restaurant's private dining room for planning meetings after Delilah started photographing everyone entering the Kowalski garage. Wednesday's Channel 7 follow-up investigation delivered the knockout punch. They'd uncovered Delilah's complete vendor kickback empire. Payments from landscaping companies, snow removal contractors, and maintenance services, all for work funded by resident fees but never performed because the city already provided those services free. The reporter's conclusion rang like a death sentence. Oak Ridge Estates residents have been unknowingly funding legitimate city services through property taxes and fraudulent duplicate services through HOA fees, while their board president allegedly pocketed contractor kickbacks for work never performed. That night, Delilah's house went dark except for one window where her silhouette paced frantically, the sharp smell of her desperation practically visible in the winter air. Friday morning, she committed her final error, threatening individual families with lawsuits for defamation and conspiracy if they didn't publicly retract their news statements. She'd just intimidated witnesses in an active criminal investigation. Time for the mayor to make a house call. Delilah's final desperate scheme began with what she called emergency compliance inspections. Monday morning, professional-looking crews with clipboards invaded houses while parents worked and kids attended school. They photographed cracked driveways, faded paint, slightly overgrown bushes, anything that could become a citation. Families rushed home from jobs to find violation notices demanding immediate $200 payments or escalated enforcement proceedings. But the cruelest part? She'd scheduled these raids specifically during work hours, targeting anyone vulnerable to intimidation by fake authority figures. Mrs. Patterson called Tuesday, voice trembling like autumn leaves. "Marcus, they photographed Robert's workshop tools in our garage, called them unsightly storage violations. I haven't moved anything since my husband died 3 years ago." The metallic taste of pure rage filled my mouth. This monster was weaponizing a widow's grief for HOA compliance theater. But Delilah's desperation revealed her fatal miscalculation. Every bogus inspection generated automatic city building department reports, dozens of them flagged as urgent safety violations requiring immediate municipal response. By Wednesday morning, my building department was drowning. Jake Morrison's team pulled double shifts investigating structural hazards that turned out to be garden hoses and electrical emergencies that were Christmas light displays. "Boss," Jake said, exhaustion heavy in his voice, "we've got 47 fraudulent complaints from one subdivision. Someone's weaponizing our inspection system to terrorize residents." That triggered a memory from my city attorney days. I'd prosecuted cases where people deliberately overwhelmed municipal services with false reports. It's administrative obstruction as a misdemeanor, but becomes felony fraud when it's systematic and intentional. Delilah wasn't just harassing neighbors anymore. She was attacking city infrastructure, and every false report created permanent evidence of her crimes. Using my mayoral authority, I ordered comprehensive auditing of all HOA-related complaints from the past 6 months. The pattern was smoking gun obvious: same complainant, identical language about property degradation and community standards, 47 different target addresses. She'd been using municipal resources as her personal harassment weapon while documenting every federal crime in official city records. Here's where her paranoia created the perfect mini-twist. Thursday evening, Delilah demanded emergency city council hearing to present her evidence of criminal conspiracy. She arrived with her puppet board members, armed with PowerPoint slides about outside agitators undermining lawful governance. I sat in my mayor's chair, stone-faced, while she unknowingly presented 45 minutes of complaints directly to her primary target. She detailed every suspicious activity: garage meetings, legal research sessions, coordination between known troublemakers. The woman was literally asking me to investigate myself for helping my own neighbors resist her illegal harassment campaign. But then she revealed something that turned my blood to ice water. Her presentation included surveillance photographs of my daughters playing in our backyard, walking to school, riding bikes with neighborhood friends. For weeks, she'd been stalking my family, building a dossier on the quiet city worker she suspected of organizing resistance. The sharp scent of winter air through the council chamber's old windows mixed with my protective fury as I realized this lunatic had been watching my children like some deranged predator. During public comment, I maintained absolute composure. "Ma'am, do you have documentation supporting these serious allegations?" "Absolutely," she replied, eyes blazing with fanatic certainty. "I've filed detailed reports with appropriate authorities. The mayor himself has all evidence needed to prosecute these neighborhood criminals." The irony was so perfect it physically hurt not to smile. After the meeting, I coordinated with our city attorney about federal charges. Surveillance of children crossed into stalking territory, criminal harassment of minors, violation of privacy rights, potential federal civil rights violations. But Friday morning brought her most unhinged move yet. Channel 7's Amanda Palmer called my mayoral office. "Sir, we've received disturbing allegations about city officials being compromised by organized crime. The complainant claims extensive evidence of municipal corruption enabling neighborhood criminals." Delilah had taken her conspiracy theories to the media, trying to destroy my reputation without realizing she was targeting exactly the right person for completely wrong reasons. That afternoon, watching December snow dust the City Hall parking lot, I made my final strategic decision. Instead of ending this quietly, the Christmas party would become her very public reckoning. Every neighbor deserved to witness this woman's complete destruction in front of cameras, law enforcement, and the entire community she'd terrorized. Saturday morning delivered her most delusional complaint: formal request for FBI investigation of organized crime masquerading as holiday celebration. She'd asked federal agents to investigate families planning to share homemade cookies and sing Christmas carols. The woman had completely severed all connection to reality. Time to provide her complimentary return transportation to planet Earth, featuring special guest appearances by handcuffs, criminal charges, and the mayor she'd been unknowingly attacking for months. Christmas was 4 days away. Justice was about to unwrap its perfect gift. Saturday night, Mrs. Patterson made the discovery that changed everything. She'd been excavating 30 years of HOA records in her late husband's home office, the musty smell of old paper and forgotten bureaucracy filling the cramped space. Robert had been obsessively meticulous about documentation, and somewhere in those banker's boxes was our neighborhood's original DNA. At 11 p.m., her voice crackled through my phone like electricity. "Marcus, you need to see this immediately. The 1987 founding charter. Everything Delilah's done is completely illegal." Sunday morning in Mrs. Patterson's living room, I held the smoking gun document that would destroy Delilah's empire. The founding charter was brutally clear. Individual board members cannot impose fines unilaterally. Every enforcement action requires majority board approval and 75% resident consent for fee increases or major policy changes. For 6 years, Delilah had operated as a one-woman dictatorship, violating our neighborhood's fundamental governance with every citation she'd issued. Every fine was legally worthless. Every threat was criminal harassment. But buried in Robert Patterson's financial files was something that made my hands shake with rage. Correspondence with First National Bank from March 2023. Delilah had secretly mortgaged our community property, playground, clubhouse, common areas that belonged to all 47 families, to fund her legal war against residents. $47,000 in hidden debt, secured against neighborhood assets without anyone's knowledge or consent. The foreclosure timeline was already in motion. Delilah's master plan crystallized with sickening clarity. Bankrupt the HOA through manufactured legal battles, blame criminal neighbors for the financial crisis, then purchase our foreclosed community spaces at auction prices. She wasn't just stealing Christmas, she was stealing our entire neighborhood to build her personal kingdom. Monday morning, I cross-referenced city records with the mortgage documents using my mayoral access. The fraud web was massive. Vendor kickbacks totaling thousands, systematic double billing for city services, embezzlement of community funds, and conspiracy to defraud multiple families. This had exploded beyond local crime into federal territory. Mail fraud through threatening letters, wire fraud via electronic fee collection, civil rights violations targeting families with children, and organized criminal conspiracy spanning multiple years. 3 phone calls that afternoon reshaped Delilah's future. FBI Financial Crimes Unit, IRS Criminal Investigation Division, Postal Inspector Service. Each agency expressed intense interest in systematic fraud combined with civil rights violations and child endangerment. The cosmic irony was perfect. Every paranoid complaint she'd filed with my office had created federal evidence of her own criminal enterprise. She'd been documenting her crimes while asking me to prosecute her victims. Tuesday evening, over dinner with the sharp scent of Sarah's roast chicken filling our kitchen, I finally revealed the truth. The twins were upstairs with homework while I explained why their neighborhood had become a battlefield. "You've been the mayor this entire time?" Sarah set down her fork, eyes wide. "She's been filing complaints about you? Directly to you?" "For 6 months, asking me to investigate myself for helping our neighbors resist her illegal campaign." Sarah's expression shifted from shock to something darker. "This woman mortgaged our children's playground to fund her harassment of our children's friends? And planned to blame us when the foreclosure happened. The weight of violated trust, stolen security, and systematic community destruction settled between us like winter cold seeping through old windows. When do you end this?" The question that had consumed my thoughts for days. Early revelation would let her escape quietly, maybe even negotiate some face-saving resignation, but justice demanded public accountability. Christmas party, December 23rd, right there in Joe's backyard, surrounded by every family she's terrorized, with news cameras documenting her complete destruction when she realizes exactly who she's been fighting. The pine scent from our Christmas tree mixed with anticipation of long overdue justice. Delilah Thornfield thought she was conquering defenseless families who couldn't fight back. Time to show her what happened when predators picked the wrong prey. Monday morning, I walked into City Hall with strategic satisfaction coating my tongue like perfectly brewed coffee. Time to orchestrate the most beautiful takedown in municipal history. First stop, City Attorney Rebecca Martinez's office, where the smell of legal briefs mixed with anticipation thick enough to taste. "Rebecca, I need HOA dissolution papers, state fraud charges, and federal civil rights documentation. Delivery date, Christmas Eve, 4 p.m., Kowalski, backyard." Her pen stopped mid-signature. "Public venue?" Delilah Thornfield has spent 6 months asking me to investigate myself for protecting my neighbors from her illegal harassment. She deserves to discover what real authority looks like with proper theatrical flair. Tuesday brought legal arsenal assembly that would make prosecutors weep with professional joy. HOA dissolution papers citing systematic governance violations. State fraud charges backed by mortgage documents and embezzlement evidence. Federal conspiracy charges supported by documented harassment, mail fraud, and civil rights violations spanning multiple families. But the masterstroke was timeline coordination. State Attorney General investigation findings. December 23rd, 3 p.m. release. Precisely when families would be arriving for Christmas party setup. FBI Financial Crimes Unit positioned for potential arrest during peak media coverage. Postal Inspector Service prepared with mail fraud warrants. IRS Criminal Division ready with asset seizure orders. Delilah's entire criminal empire would collapse in real time while she watched families celebrate the tradition she'd tried to murder. Wednesday evening in the Kowalski garage, now reeking of motor oil, sawdust, and 47 families' collective determination, I outlined community strategy with military precision. "Everyone gets assignments," I announced to the packed crowd, their faces lit by harsh fluorescent lighting that made this feel like wartime planning. Legal documentation teams, witness coordination, security protocols. This isn't just defending one Christmas party, it's proving that organized communities can destroy individual tyrants. Mrs. Patterson would lead documentation teams. Each family received specific responsibilities. Photograph all setup procedures, record any harassment attempts, maintain detailed witness statements for court proceedings. Tom Rodriguez's veteran network would handle crowd security, positioning strategically throughout the party perimeter like they were protecting a military operation instead of a cookie exchange. The technical preparation required precision that would impress Pentagon logistics coordinators. During my city attorney days, I'd learned that public accountability moments need ironclad legal foundation and flawless execution. Every word, every action, every piece of evidence had to be documented, witnessed, and legally bulletproof for maximum impact. Professional security cameras would capture the confrontation from 6 different angles. Legal observers positioned with official documentation responsibilities. Emergency hotline established with city attorney's office for immediate consultation. Chain of custody procedures for evidence collection. Here's a crucial detail most people don't know. When challenging HOA authority publicly, always ensure you have current corporate registration documents, bank account records, and board meeting minutes covering the past 2 years, Most HOA corruption becomes obvious once you audit their paperwork trail. The Christmas party permits were obtained through proper municipal channels, expedited by mayoral authority but following every procedural requirement to prevent legal challenges. Police invited as honored guests through Chief Patterson's office, Mrs. Patterson's nephew, which added delicious family drama to our justice story. Local media received strategic information about heartwarming community overcomes adversity angle, positioning cameras for maximum coverage of what they thought was simple human interest, rather than dramatic political theater. Thursday's final prep included family security briefings. Sarah coordinated with police for post-revelation protection protocols. The twins, bouncing with excitement about helping Daddy surprise the mean lady, understood their role as visible proof that families weren't afraid anymore. Friday afternoon, I had an absurd moment standing in my home office, practicing revelation timing with a stopwatch like some demented theater director. "Ma'am, I'm Ethan Wellington, and I'm exactly who you want to speak to." Pause for camera focus. "I'm the mayor of this city, and I've been documenting your crimes for 6 months." The words tasted like victory seasoned with justice, and just enough dramatic flair to satisfy my inner theater kid. Saturday evening brought the final neighborhood reconnaissance walk. Sharp winter air mixed with pine scent from Christmas decorations she'd tried to criminalize. Lights twinkled in windows she'd threatened to cite for excessive illumination. Some children's laughter echoed from yards she'd declared noise violation territories. Every family knew their assignment. Every legal document was prepared. Every federal agency was coordinated. Sunday morning delivered her final unhinged complaint, requesting federal marshals prevent organized criminal conspiracy disguised as holiday celebration. She'd literally asked federal law enforcement to investigate cookie sharing and Christmas carols, while those same federal agents prepared her arrest warrants. Monday afternoon, December 23rd, watching setup trucks arrive at Kowalski's house with the efficiency of military logistics, I felt deep satisfaction of justice finally unwrapping its Christmas present. In 4 hours, Delilah would discover that authority used to protect people hits much harder than authority used to terrorize them. Showtime. Sunday morning, Delilah crossed into pure criminal territory with a move that sealed her fate. I was reviewing party logistics, the smell of Sarah's pancakes mixing with morning coffee, when Building Inspector Jake Morrison called with barely controlled fury. "Boss, that HOA psycho just offered me $1,000 cash to condemn the Kowalski house for fake structural violations before tonight's party. Said her downtown connections would guarantee my promotion to department head if I fabricated emergency safety concerns." The metallic taste of rage flooded my mouth. She was bribing my own employee to destroy my neighbor's Christmas while promising them my authority as payment. "Please tell me you recorded this, Jake." Every word, boss. Audio, video, timestamps. She just committed felony bribery while confessing conspiracy to file false municipal reports. Here's what most people don't understand about municipal corruption. When someone bribes a city employee, they're not just committing local crimes. They're creating federal evidence that can trigger RICO investigations for systematic criminal enterprise. The lesson couldn't be clearer. Always record interactions with anyone offering bribes or threatening official retaliation, because federal prosecutors love cases with clear audio evidence. But Delilah's desperation was just getting started. Monday afternoon, she launched economic warfare against individual families by calling their employers. The Nakamura family, the Rodriguez veterans, the Palmer small business owners. She systematically contacted HR departments claiming their employees were involved in criminal conspiracy threatening community safety. Mrs. Palmer called me Tuesday morning, voice shaking. "Marcus, my boss received a call saying I'm part of organized neighborhood terrorism. They're questioning my security clearance over Christmas party planning." The sharp winter air through my office window carried the bitter scent of injustice as I coordinated damage control, personally calling business leaders to explain that a mentally unstable HOA president was targeting innocent families with fabricated criminal allegations. But here's where Delilah's paranoia created her perfect mini-twist downfall. Tuesday afternoon, I noticed the black sedan with tinted windows following my official mayoral vehicle from City Hall to lunch appointments. She'd hired a second private investigator, one specializing in corporate intelligence, to surveil me specifically. The beautiful irony? This PI was unknowingly tailing the mayor at the request of someone who'd spent months filing complaints asking the mayor to investigate the mayor's activities in the mayor's neighborhood. Wednesday evening brought her most vicious escalation. Direct threats against children, Mrs. Patterson found a typed note in her mailbox that made my blood freeze. Elderly residents enabling children's noise violations will face elder abuse investigations. Grandparents corrupting minors for criminal activities belong in state facilities. She'd threatened a 73-year-old widow with forced institutionalization for letting neighborhood kids visit her house. The taste of protective fury mixed with anticipation of justice, as I realized this woman had finally pushed every button that would guarantee her federal prosecution. Thursday morning, December 23rd, Delilah attempted her final sabotage. At 10 a.m., she physically blocked the catering truck in the Kowalski driveway, arms spread wide like some deranged traffic enforcement officer. When Maria Santos arrived with Christmas cookies, Delilah screamed about illegal commercial conspiracy and threatened to perform citizen's arrest on the delivery driver. Amateur phone video of her attacking Christmas cookie delivery went viral within hours. #Christmas. Karen trended nationally as social media exploded with support for families resisting HOA tyranny. But the most beautiful moment came at 1 p.m. Unmarked FBI vehicles arrived to position agents for evening surveillance and potential arrest procedures. I watched from my kitchen window as Delilah spotted the federal cars and practically danced with vindicated excitement. At 1:30, my office phone rang. "Mr. Mayor, this is Delilah Thornfield. The federal agents I requested have finally arrived to arrest the neighborhood criminals. Justice is being served at last." Her voice carried triumph so pure it was almost tragic. She was literally celebrating her own arrest team's deployment while federal agents prepared to document her final public breakdown before taking her into custody. "Ma'am, I'm sure justice will indeed be served tonight." "Exactly. These criminals picked the wrong neighborhood to terrorize. When this is over, property values will soar and decent families will feel safe again." I hung up, listening to her maniacal laughter echo through the phone. The woman who'd spent 6 months asking me to investigate myself for protecting my neighbors from her illegal harassment was now thanking me for sending federal agents to arrest her at her own request. The crisp December air through my window carried the scent of pine needles from Christmas trees she'd tried to ban, and the sweet smell of justice finally getting its moment in the spotlight. 3 hours until the Christmas party. 3 hours until Delilah Thornfield discovered that authority used to protect people hits infinitely harder than authority used to terrorize them. Federal agents were positioned, legal documents were prepared, cameras were ready. Time for the neighborhood dictator's final curtain call, featuring special guest appearances by handcuffs, criminal charges, and the mayor she'd been unknowingly fighting since day one. Thursday afternoon, 2 p.m., 1 hour before party setup, Delilah launched her final desperate assault. She'd stationed herself at the subdivision entrance with a folding table, clipboard, and homemade signs reading "Criminal Activity in Progress" and "Protect Your Property Values." Like some deranged checkpoint guard, she was literally interrogating every delivery truck, guest vehicle, and neighbor trying to enter our own neighborhood. I watched from my kitchen window as she flagged down the Channel 7 news van, waving papers frantically while Amanda Palmer's camera operator captured every unhinged moment. "Ma'am, we're here to cover the Christmas party," Amanda said diplomatically. "Perfect timing," Delilah shrieked, her voice carrying across frost-covered lawns like a banshee warning. "You can document the criminal conspiracy I've been fighting for months. I have evidence of organized neighborhood terrorism." The metallic taste of anticipation filled my mouth watching her destroy herself on live television before the main event even started. But her final sabotage attempt revealed complete psychological breakdown. At 2:30, police patrol cars arrived for routine Christmas party security, the enhanced presence I'd coordinated with Chief Patterson. Delilah spotted the cruisers and began sprinting between them like some demented cheerleader, screaming about backup finally arriving to arrest the criminal element. Officer Martinez stepped out of his car looking genuinely concerned about her mental state. "Ma'am, are you experiencing some kind of emergency?" "Yes! The mayor sent you to arrest these criminals, right? I filed reports for months demanding action against this organized conspiracy." Officer Martinez glanced at his partner with the universal expression cops share when dealing with mentally unstable civilians. "Ma'am, we're here to ensure everyone has a safe, peaceful Christmas celebration." "No, no, no!" Delilah's voice cracked with hysteria. "You're supposed to arrest them. I have documentation. Federal agents confirmed it. The beautiful mini-twist was watching her realize that law enforcement wasn't there to help her. They were there to protect families from her. By 3 p.m., the Kowalski backyard was transforming into Christmas magic despite her interference. Professional lighting crews strung warm white bulbs between oak trees whose bare branches caught the golden winter afternoon light like nature's chandeliers. The smell of cinnamon and pine mixed with the sound of children's laughter as families arrived carrying covered dishes and homemade decorations. But Delilah's meltdown was reaching dangerous levels. She began physically confronting families as they walked toward the party. Mrs. Patterson, carrying her famous sugar cookies, was blocked by Delilah screaming about enabling criminal conspiracy through illegal food distribution. Tom Rodriguez, approaching with his grandchildren, faced accusations of corrupting minors for neighborhood terrorism activities. The Palmer family was threatened with immigration compliance investigations for bringing culturally inappropriate decorations that violate American community standards. Each confrontation was captured by news cameras, social media phones, and the FBI surveillance equipment positioned throughout the area. She was building federal civil rights violation evidence in real time while network television broadcast her systematic harassment of families celebrating Christmas. At 3:30, Channel 7 began live streaming the Christmas Party Under Siege story. Within minutes, thousands of viewers were watching our neighborhood drama unfold in real time, with comments exploding in support of families standing up to HOA tyranny. But the most devastating moment came when she spotted my daughters walking toward the party with Sarah. "There! Those are the children of the criminal mastermind!" she screamed at police officers, pointing directly at Emma and Grace. "Arrest them for conspiracy! Their father is the ringleader destroying our community!" The sharp winter air went silent as 47 families, news crews, police officers, and federal agents watched this woman demand the arrest of 8-year-old girls for attending a Christmas party. Officer Martinez stepped forward, his voice carrying the authority of someone who'd reached his limit. "Ma'am, I need you to step away from those children immediately." "But they're criminals. Their father." "Ma'am, threatening children is a crime. Step back now." That's when I realized it was time. The setup was perfect. Media cameras rolling, police present as witnesses, federal agents positioned for arrest. 47 families gathered to see justice finally delivered, and Delilah Thornfield standing in the center of it all, demanding the arrest of my daughters while having no idea their father was about to step forward. At 4 p.m. exactly, with winter sunset painting the sky behind Christmas lights and the sound of carols beginning in the background, I walked out of my house wearing my casual neighborhood clothes and the quiet confidence of someone who'd been playing chess while his opponent played checkers. The taste of justice was sweeter than Christmas cookies, and twice as satisfying. Time for Delilah to meet the mayor she'd been fighting all along. I stepped into the Kowalski backyard at exactly 4:15 p.m., Christmas lights twinkling overhead like stars celebrating justice. 200 people had gathered despite Delilah's threats. Neighbors, extended family, supporters from other subdivisions dealing with HOA abuse, and media crews broadcasting live to thousands of viewers. Children sang carols near the hot chocolate station while parents shared stories of community solidarity triumphing over individual tyranny. But Delilah wasn't finished destroying herself. She stormed into the party carrying a portable megaphone and a stack of fake legal documents, her designer boots crunching through frost-covered grass as she positioned herself in front of the news cameras. "Attention, criminals!" Her amplified voice shattered the peaceful evening air. "This illegal gathering ends now. I demand immediate arrests for trespassing, disturbing the peace, and conspiracy to commit property value terrorism." Police officers stood nearby, hands relaxed, expressions patient. They'd been briefed about her mental state and criminal behavior. No one moved to stop the party. "I have legal authority," she continued, waving expired HOA documents like magical shields. "I demand to speak to whoever thinks they're in charge of this pathetic city." Children continued caroling. Families kept sharing cookies. The only people paying attention to her meltdown were law enforcement officers documenting everything and news cameras capturing her complete psychological breakdown for posterity. But that's when she made her fatal mistake. "Where is the mayor?" she screamed into the megaphone, her voice cracking with desperate authority. "I demand the mayor come here immediately to arrest these criminals. I have connections. I have influence. I control this neighborhood." The crowd went quiet. 200 people stopped their conversations to watch this woman demand my presence while I stood 15 feet away in casual clothes, invisible in plain sight. I walked forward through the silent crowd, the taste of perfect timing sweet on my tongue. "Ma'am," I said in my normal conversational voice, "I'm Ethan Wellington, and I'm exactly who you want to speak to." She turned toward me, megaphone lowering slightly, confusion replacing rage. "I don't want to speak to random criminals. I demanded the mayor." "Ma'am, I am the mayor." Complete silence. 200 people holding their breath. News cameras zooming in. FBI agents positioning for arrest. Police officers stepping closer. Delilah's face went through a progression of emotions that would have been comedic if her crimes weren't so serious. Confusion, disbelief, dawning recognition, absolute horror. "You're lying," she whispered. I produced my mayoral identification, business card, and badge. "I'm Ethan Wellington, mayor of Maplewood Heights. For 6 months, you've been filing complaints with my office asking me to investigate myself for protecting my neighbors from your illegal harassment campaign." Her megaphone clattered to the frozen ground. "Every threatening letter you sent created evidence of mail fraud. Every fake fine you imposed documented your criminal conspiracy. Every complaint you filed asking me to arrest my neighbors for resisting your illegal authority proved systematic civil rights violations." The color drained from her face as realization hit like an avalanche. "You've been committing federal crimes while asking me to prosecute your victims. You've been bribing my employees while claiming my support. You've been terrorizing my community while demanding my intervention against the families I took an oath to protect." Behind me, I heard Mrs. Patterson's quiet voice. "Sweet justice." City Attorney Rebecca Martinez stepped forward with official papers. "Ms. Thornfield, by emergency mayoral order, the Oak Ridge Estates HOA is hereby dissolved for systematic violations of state and corporation law, financial fraud, and criminal harassment of residents." FBI agent Sarah Palmer approached with handcuffs. "Delilah Thornfield, you're under arrest for mail fraud, conspiracy to defraud, bribery of municipal officials, and federal civil rights violations." "This is impossible," Delilah whispered as cuffs clicked around her wrists. "I have connections. I have authority. I control—" "Ma'am," I interrupted. "Real authority protects people. What you had was just bullying with paperwork." As federal agents led her away, the sound of children singing Silent Night filled the winter air. Christmas lights twinkled in trees she'd tried to cite for violations. Families embraced in yards she'd attempted to control through fear. Amanda Palmer's live broadcast captured the perfect ending. Neighbors celebrating community triumph over individual tyranny, while the woman who'd tried to steal Christmas was driven away in handcuffs. The sharp scent of winter pine mixed with the sweet smell of justice finally delivered. 200 people erupted in spontaneous applause, not for me, but for the simple truth that good people fighting together can defeat any bully, no matter how much fake authority they wave around. Delilah Thornfield had spent 6 months asking the mayor to investigate the mayor for protecting the mayor's neighbors from the person terrorizing the mayor's family. Justice doesn't get much more poetic than that. Christmas Eve morning dawned crisp and clear, with the kind of winter sunlight that makes everything look like a Hallmark movie. Except our version had federal agents instead of romance and justice instead of mistletoe. The Christmas party had continued for 3 hours after Delilah's arrest, becoming an impromptu celebration of community resilience. Children who'd been afraid to play outside for months ran freely between houses. Parents who'd whispered in fear for half a year laughed openly on their front lawns. Elderly residents who'd hidden indoors during her reign of terror sat on porches sharing stories and hot chocolate. By New Year's Day, our story had become a national symbol. CNN featured us in their Communities Fighting Back segment. The Washington Post ran an editorial about grassroots resistance to petty tyranny. Legal aid organizations cited our case as a perfect example of how organized communities can defeat systematic harassment. Most importantly, other neighborhoods started fighting back against their own HOA bullies. 6 weeks after Christmas, we formed the Oak Ridge Community Association. Voluntary membership, democratic governance, zero tolerance for harassment or intimidation. Property values increased 15% due to positive media attention and proven community solidarity. Real estate agents started marketing our neighborhood as the place where neighbors actually support each other. But the real healing happened in small moments. Mrs. A. Patterson started hosting weekly coffee mornings in her living room, the same space where she'd researched legal ammunition to defeat Delilah. Children's laughter echoed through streets that had been silent with fear. The Nakamura family planted a beautiful garden where Delilah had once cited them for culturally inappropriate landscaping. Our annual Christmas party became an official city-sponsored community event with municipal support for decorations, security, and coordination. What started as one neighborhood's tradition expanded into a citywide celebration of community over conflict. Delilah's fate provided its own perfect justice. She pleaded guilty to federal fraud charges, avoiding trial but receiving 2 years probation, community service, and full restitution to every family she'd bilked. The mansion she'd used as her command center was sold to pay legal bills and victim compensation. She moved 3 states away, becoming a cautionary tale in HOA management training programs nationwide. The Maplewood Heights Community Foundation, established with recovered funds from her embezzlement schemes, now provides scholarships for working families' children, funds democratically chosen neighborhood improvement projects, and sponsors annual events that bring all our communities together. But the most important change was systematic. Our state legislature passed the Homeowner Bill of Rights, requiring HOA boards to maintain current legal incorporation, limiting individual board member authority, and establishing resident appeals processes. Municipal mediation services now handle housing disputes before they escalate to harassment campaigns. Cities across the country adopted similar protections, inspired by proof that organized communities can defeat individual tyrants when they understand their legal rights and support each other through the fight. 6 months later, walking through our neighborhood on a warm June evening, I watched kids riding bikes in streets where they'd once feared to play, neighbors chatting over fences about weekend barbecues instead of legal threats, and families enjoying the simple pleasure of community life without fear of citation books or fake authority. The sound of children's laughter had replaced the echo of angry demands. The smell of backyard barbecues had overcome the bitter scent of harassment and intimidation. Real power, I'd learned, isn't about controlling people. It's about protecting their freedom to build the communities they want to live in.
Thanks for hanging out with us on HOA Stories, where the HOA Karens meet their match. If this story had you cheering or cringing, go ahead and like the video, drop a comment with your reaction, and hit subscribe so you're ready for the next wild HOA tale.